it started clicking. The downloads started coming in, the sales started coming in, the reviews started racking up, interest around the trilogy built. And with each successive installation that came out, more and more readers were coming along.
Hello and welcome to Callum Connect's Micro Podcast. Our guest today is Dylan James Quarles. Dylan is an award-winning novelist whose work has been read by over 100,000 people worldwide. The recent recipient of the Best Indie Book Awards, Dylan is known for his intriguing plots, strong characters, and stunning set pieces.
A hurdle I've faced as an entrepreneur, actually probably the biggest hurdle I've faced as an entrepreneur, came right in the beginning of my writing career after I'd finished my first novel, The Ruins of Mars. It was sci-fi, and I'd self-published it, so I was trying to be seen in this ocean of other self-published novels. You know, there are just so many people out there competing for readers, and I was one of them suddenly, and I really wasn't equipped for it. So I was kind of just doing this like scattershot style of marketing. You know, I was sort of throwing my money away by trying to sell to all these different groups of people, not really knowing who wanted the book or why they might want it. I was trying to sell the premise. I was trying to sell the characters. I was all over Twitter. I was all over social media. I was trying to get people enticed to come on over and download a copy, even a free copy. And then one day I kind of had this epiphany. I realized that I shouldn't be trying to sell necessarily the novel itself, the beats of the story, the characters, the plot, the premise. I should be trying to sell the feeling of the story, the feeling it was going to give the reader, the feeling that it had given me when I was writing it, that kernel that had inspired me to write it, that sort of inspiration that had kept me going through all those hard weeks and months of beating the keys and working out the plot and doing edits and drafting and all of this process that goes into writing a novel. You know, what had kept me going? What did that novel have that had inspired me to write it in the first place? And I realized it was a feeling of hopefulness. The Ruins of Mars came out at a time when sci-fi was really going in a direction of a lot of dystopian and post-apocalyptic fiction. It was sort of taking over the sci-fi scene. And The Ruins of Mars is neither of those things. It's not dystopian, it's not post-apocalyptic. It deals with some of those elements for sure, but it's decidedly hopeful because I had been inspired by Arthur C. Clarke and Ben Bova and some of the more hopeful sci-fi writers of yesteryear. So I realized, like, that's what I need to be selling. I shouldn't be trying to sell the story. I should be trying to sell the inspiration behind the story, because that's what the reader's really looking for. They're looking to be inspired. They're looking to be transported. So I moved in that direction, and as soon as I did, it started clicking. The downloads started coming in, the sales started coming in, the reviews started racking up, interest around the trilogy built, and with each successive installation that came out, more and more readers were coming along for the adventure. And now, all these years later, I've sold 100,000 copies of the Ruins of Mars trilogy. It's cracked the Amazon bestseller list a couple of times, and it's positioned me really well to move forward as a self-published novelist, putting out other books that I now market based off of the feeling that inspired me to write them, rather than the plot points of characters or whatever, these more sort of like surface level things. Because I really truly believe that when somebody sits down to read a novel and they make that choice, what they're going to pick up and start reading or watching or listening to, it has more to do with a feeling that they're chasing, something that they would like to feel themselves when they read it, something that they would like to be stirred within them. And if you can figure out what it is that inspired you to write, you can figure out what your reader is looking for too, and you can market to them. And that was probably the biggest breakthrough I had in terms of marketing, because as soon as I got that worked out, I stopped wasting money marketing to the wrong people.
If you enjoyed this podcast and would like to find more inspiring information about entrepreneurs around the world doing incredible things, make your way to enterprisezone.cc.